Hi, David Nelson here from Adsotech. I'm here with my colleague Markku in Aarhus. We're doing a data catalogue and a data governance workshop with a few of our clients. One of the questions we quite often get asked at these workshops is about data transformation. So we just wanted to take a few moments, and Markku is going to show a demo about data transformation. One of the questions we get asked a lot is because many of our customers know us because of the Windshuttle or Automate Studio tool, and they ask, can that be used for data transformation? And the answer is yes, it can, up to a certain point. So that's got real strengths where you are trying to take the data out of SAP, and it's okay putting it into Excel, transforming, manipulating the data there, and then loading it back into SAP. But in longer projects and bigger projects like S4HANA projects, or maybe you're creating a data catalog, it's better to use a bigger tool for that. And that's why we would recommend the Data 360 Analyze tool from Precisely. So Markku is going to show that very shortly. And one of the things he's going to talk about on that is also another question we get asked, which is, what's the difference between an ETL solution and an ELT solution? And Markku is going to be talking a little bit about the advantages of an ETL solution as well. So hope you enjoy the video, and if you would like to see some more videos, there's plenty on our website, there's plenty on the YouTube channel, and if you want to come to our events, we'll be very happy to see you. Okay, thanks.
My name is Markku Rantala, and I'm the product manager for our data quality and data governance product lines. I'm talking a little bit about the ETL and ELT processes, but first I would like to capture some background. Why are we here now? So during the last 2 years, we have attended a lot of SAP user groups and Data Innovation Summit. We have also arranged a number of data governance and quality events in Nordics, and also based on the discussion of one-to-one meetings with our current customers, prospective customers, our observation is that most companies are in the process of replicating their data in the cloud for better analytics and services. But now, and because of this digital transformation, we are getting asked 2 questions. How do we maintain the quality? And how do we understand the context of these cloud data sets? And in this session, I'm going to show you concretical ways how to achieve these targets using ETL process. The importance of ETL for cloud datasets is visualized in this picture. On the left side, we have our Excel processes, our ERP data, and our databases. Purpose of ETL is to transfer process knowledge from these systems into the curated cloud datasets, which then in itself create new data products where business can derive new insights. The importance of ETL comes from the fact that the knowledge is on the left side of the picture. Why we may want to reconsider ELT, which means that we are loading raw data sets into the cloud and trying to do the transformation in the cloud, where there are very good tools for that. But it can lead to extensive reverse engineering, which means doing joins, connecting data, filtering data in the cloud. And this is quite often does not pay off, because when we are moving the raw data into the cloud, we are losing the process knowledge because the business users are not part of the process. This is a typical pitfall of the ELT process, which is quite fast. We can move a lot of data into the cloud, but then in the cloud, we are losing these benefits because of this reverse engineering. We don't understand the data. So actually, to derive better insights, we would benefit from using ETL tool. We can automate the knowledge transfer all the way to the cloud. This way we can maintain high quality data sets, which result in better new data products. A few words also on the frequency of updates. On the left side, we are dealing with transactional systems. The cloud and new data products are quite often considered real-time, high availability products. However, we always begin the discussion that real time, we want to go real time on the cloud, but we always go back to on demand. And the next logical step is scheduled. This is in practice what happens. And the real time is the last step in this process. So we first need to automate on demand those repetitive tasks on the left side. Then we can schedule the tasks. And the real timeness is something that comes after we have achieved these two goals. So to put it all together, the ELT process can lead to extensive business logic, reverse engineering. Also because raw data sets often lack the descriptive information, we lose the meaning. And the good old bad data in, bad data out is the same principle applies when we are moving data into the cloud. However, when we are using a transformation process, ETL and automation, we can maintain higher quality data sets in the cloud. And these in turn result in better analytics, data products and services. We also give control to business users. They are responsible for the data that is transferred. So we think that the control should be in the business user's hand. And good data in, good data out. That is self-explaining. Typical ETL process automation use cases that we have. We extract data from databases, from ERPs, typically a large number of source systems, often legacy systems. A part of the migration process, we are having legacy systems for certain periods of time until they are phased out. We transform data, combine the data, enrich the data, and also use the parallel processing with control. What this means is that we can run these transformation processes or data flows in parallel, which is very effective. We can also split the data and create transformation lines that run in parallel. It's a very powerful feature. For example, in Excel, this is very hard to do. Then we load the data in predefined format. We pass it to business users. We can load it in to other systems and databases, also the cloud data lake and data marts. Typically, process data is also in Excel that involve a lot of people in the process. The Excels are passed from people to people, and the data is modified according to business rules. We create reference database rules. We consolidate, split the data, and then again we share it to other business users or to BI services, Power BI, or we write it back to SAP or other databases, and again to Cloud Data Lake and data marts. Typical pain points with Excel-based ETL is that it involves a lot of manual work. The data is cleaned and records are deduplicated. The consolidation split into files is by hand. And also the sharing can be very difficult when there are multiple persons and systems that we need to load the results. What is really the key business case for automation is that if you have these type of tasks that are recurring and similar in nature, then there's a high possibility that we can automate these processes, giving you the control to automate it. But at the same time, reduce the time spent on these type of repetitive tasks. Some challenges that might arise from when transforming data with Excel is that when we have complex macros, the maintenance of the macros is very difficult. Also, when we are calculating lengthy formulas, we don't see the intermediate calculation results that easily. And cross-referencing multiple files and sheets can be very tedious and error-prone task. The solution that we propose is a data flow-based solution. It's meant for business users. So you can create a data flow with predefined nodes. It's a drag and drop solution. So we can quickly create and connect these nodes to do the calculations and the transformation on the data that we have read. We can see the calculation results all the time there. We call it instant data visibility. And also we have some data profiling there and a standard feature. When you do the transformation this way, it is possible to automate the process. We have a few demos today. First demo, I will show you just an ad hoc ETL process. I will create the process where we extract information from a couple of Excel files. We do some transformations, and then we load the results to Excel files. Then we have an ETL process with SAP sources. So we have a typical migration scenario that we are extracting data from a new system, an old SAP system. We are doing transformation, and then we are doing uploading to data lake. And last demo, we have a scheduled CRM data profiling data flow where we take database data. We do extensive transformation and some analysis on the data, and then we load into multiple target systems. We send the results by email. We have a template, Excel template that we upload the data into, and other API services. So this is how the solution looks like. This is the Data 360 Analyze product. It's used in a browser, so it's very easy to use and can be used from any workstation. We have on the left side, we have our document folders. Then we have schedules for scheduled runs or on-demand runs and real-time runs. Then we have an extensive run log. We can have users. This integrates to your Active Directory, so it's very easy to, there's no separate login when using the service. We have groups and settings. The whole concept is based on creating data flows. And I'm going to create you in the first demo a data flow, just a simple one. What we had in mind was that we create grid to Excel files. So here on the left side, I have collection of nodes. We have a lot of variety options for input data in different formats from different services, databases. Then we have transformation nodes, more transformation nodes. We have nodes for and adapters for different type of formats, for services, for databases. We have more nodes for creating more complicated data flows. Then we have metadata tools. We also have some profiling and pattern nodes. This part is typically today done in cloud because there are very good tools for that. But it's good to have these profiling and pattern nodes also here, because sometimes when you extract data, do the transformation, you need these kind of tools. You benefit from these kind of tools. It makes the transformation so much easier. And then we have output connectors here. We support virtually any target system through APIs. And then we have some of our own connectors here, for example, to SAP and Power BI. So what I was thinking of showing you in the first demo is that we take an Excel. So I search for the Excel node. I see that this is an import node from Excel. So let's read something. I have here expenses person A, an Excel file. I run the node and I can see, okay, it's a very simple, it's travel and expense Excel file containing very simple travel descriptions, account numbers, amounts. Simple. I want to create another one. I'll just copy paste this one, place it here. And then I take person B expenses. When I see this, it's a similar file with Stephen Belmer's expenses. I want to join these files. So I look for the node and I see that there's a cat node, which combines multiple data sources into single output. So let's drag it here on the data flow. And then we're just connecting the dots. And here on this cat node, we have few options here, what to do. So I want to create an union. So we combine the data. And when we run the node, we have the data in one table. Also in this kind of, I maybe want to do some duplicate removal here. So let's track this duplicate node here. And on this data set here, intermediate result set, I'm going to direct this one, connect this to remove duplicates. And remove duplicates, we need to identify which fields are the key fields here. So we take employee, date, amount, and type. Let's say that there's the employee has put duplicate expenses there just by mistake. And then we rerun this one. And yes, we see that, okay, there were 2 rows removed from this this data set, and we can see the intermediate results here. Then I may want to split the files. So I'll go into notes and I search for split, and I see that there's a transformation tool that splits data set into 2 outputs. So I drag it here and connect this one, the deduplicated results, into the split node. So for the split node, I need to define the criteria. And let's say that I want to separate the travel expenses and the regular expenses. So I would take the type here. And then I would need to define a value here. How do we see the value? That's again the intermediate results. It's very easy. You take the inbound node, and here you can see the type field. And just to show you one very neat feature of this program, it creates statistics of all these columns at all stages. So we can actually see here that there are 8 expenses and 7 travel values in this column. Also some general statistics like blank count. So here we can say, okay, contains the value expense. And then we run the node. And this way we can see that the data is split into expenses and travel expenses. When we output, the idea was to output to Excel. So we have here an Excel output node. So the same process again, we just drag and drop, connect the dots to create 2 Excel outputs. And we define here, for example, expenses consolidated. And on this lower node, we travel expenses consolidated. Run the nodes. And this is how you work with the product. It's meant for business users. And we have a very simple drag and drop interface to create these kind of data flows. And the good thing is that we can easily modify this, for example, in the mid stage, like after the joining of the data. We can draw another data flow here. For example, if we would want to filter some data. So we are just dragging more nodes into this data flow and then connecting these dots and then defining the criteria for filtering, for example. This would be is greater than 100. So this way we would filter the amounts that are greater than 100 here. So this is how you work with the data flows. And the benefit is that this type of visual data flows are easy to maintain, and we are also able to automate the process. In the case of errors, we can see where the error happens exactly, and it's very easy to find the errors and maintain these in long term. For example, to compare to Excel-based macros or long formulas. Features to look for in an ETL solutions. First, flexibility and user friendliness. It needs to be business user friendly, so you can actually use it and maintain. Also, it needs to have this enterprise features when we are automating processes. We only grasp the very top of these features now, a very small set of these features, but we also support SAP transaction scripts writing, reading with BAPI and API. So there are a lot of features that are kind of enterprise grade in this Data 360 solution. Also, you need to have a good control over data and security. This is often a certain user is restricted to certain information. So this needs to be in order, and the user management needs to be suitable for that. Also, in some cases, we need to have a lot of control over runtime and intermediate results data. So this is more of a high security GDPR related ETL processes. But in our solution, this is all controllable, and we have good control over this secondary data, which is runtime and intermediate results, not just the reads, extracts, and the loads, also what happens in the process. And that concludes our second part of our data transformation. My name is Markku Rantala, and I'm a project and product manager at Adsotech, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions by email.